All right, what's up, guys? So this is going to be the second part out of a two-part tutorial. And what I got done finished in saying the last tutorial part was going to be, this final command on part 11 on what we're talking about here. Now, this is probably where I got the hardest error. Actually, in this whole little section right here, these three commands was kind of, actually not this one, but this one and this one, kind of the commands that were a little bit harder. I kind of had to figure it out a little bit, and that's because I was just not really, I was tired when I was doing it. But you need to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. So just because, don't just simply copy and paste this stuff. You need to make sure that your stuff is going to be extracted where you know it's going to be extracted, and it's also going to be able to extract that file from the location that you have the file that's willing to be extracted. There's plenty of times where I was trying to do it and it just would not work. And, like I said, I was tired, and then I realized what the situation was, and I looked at it and I was like, well, obviously I can't extract anything. I am looking in a directory that has nothing to extract. So that is kind of a key thing. You need to make sure that your files, your area is, pointed in the right direction of where you want it. That's why, you got to kind of don't just copy and paste all this stuff. Take it step by step. Make sure you know exactly where you're going. Take your time with it. Um, you should never really be copying and pasting a lot of stuff from the internet anyways. It's kind of, dangerous. But the big thing with it all is, you need to change those out. You need to just replace them with your own, like on your keypad, because they don't copy over for some reason that well. And so what this is saying is we want to mount this Chrome OS firmware. So you need to make sure that there is something in the mount slash user slash spen slash Chrome OS firmware, and you'll want to extract it into the shellball folder. So after that is all worked out, again, if it doesn't work for you, you just kind of got to, play with it a little bit. You can head over to this website, which I will have the link in the description. You can try to find him on Google Plus or somewhere, maybe ask him a question or find out where other people have talked about it. But there's comments down here as well that could help you out quite a bit. Just remember the comments kind of start off at the newest one, so you need to kind of backtrack to the very beginning of them to see what's going on. But real quick, we'll go ahead and keep going with this. So we're on step 12 now. Now we need to write a valid hardware ID. So we have the firmware, but we need to write a piece of code into it to let the firmware know that we're installing this firmware on the select hardware device, so whatever Chromebook model you have. So you can see that is the Peppy A2A, whatever it is. And I believe that's the Acer Chromebook as well. I'm not 100% sure. But so you'll need to go ahead and find that. That is going to be the same name that you would see as, if you can remember when you would do if you'd have to recover your Chrome OS when you had Chrome OS running, that you would see it on the very bottom of the screen saying this is your recovery disk. And you can find this by, just knowing the name. You might do a Google search if you can't find it out, if you don't know where to look. Just a Google search it. Go over to maybe the Chromebook community and on Google Plus. There's tons of people there, and you should be able to find it. The next thing we're going to do is you can optionally set your GBB flags. And if you can remember, when we removed Chrome OS, we set our flags to allow us to write into it. This is just kind of going there and resetting it. You don't have to do that. It's just an option. And finally, we are going to download a statistically linked flash ROM and flash extracted BIOS. So what is this doing right here? This is like the last little bit. So again, like I was saying, you need to make sure that your files are in the right areas. So make sure that you have something shalbo/bios.bin. And you'll flash that, and when you flash that, you'll restart your computer, and hopefully it should ask you then for a recovery disk, or sorry, a recovery USB to reboot Chrome OS into. You'll do that, and that's all you need to do. Now, do remember, you do need to make sure that you do have a recovery disk rated first, or a USB stick first. You can do that inside of the Linux distribution that you have right now. You can head over to the Google Recovery. I'll have a link in the description how to go over there and learn that out. If you have another computer, you can do it as well on Windows. It's really easy to do. Just make sure you have one of those at all times, because as soon as you run this command, you're not going to have your computer. You're not going to be able to boot into anything. You will be able to reinstall Linux if for some reason you can't get Chrome OS to go back up, and you can try this process all again. I actually had to do this twice. Like I said, I was extremely tired when I did it, but I've done it like 4 times now. Just to kind of double check and check everything out. John Lewis is a really nice guy. I've had maybe 1 or 2 words with him online. just telling them thank you and everything. So I suggest doing the same. You can always donate to them, because the only reason this is possible is for, gentlemen like this. If you do have any questions or comments, you can try to leave them down below. It can get a little sticky on here, so I don't know how much I could really work with you too much. It's just because it's hard to work with somebody when we're getting, diving pretty deep into everything without knowing what's going on. So if you are going to have a question, copy whatever the error is saying in your terminal or wherever you're getting stuck at, and paste that with your comment, or go to Pastebin, the website, and use it there, and then post the link to it, or just something. Take a screenshot, put it in your Google Drive, share the link to me. That way I can kind of see what's going on. Errors in Linux are not just simply, this is my error. We need to see every dot, every dash, because those matter into everything about Linux. Linux isn't just, as simplified as, a pop-up like Windows has, for every error. It lets you know the problem, so we can go, solve the problem, manually. So that's pretty much it when it comes to this. It's a little tricky. I'm not going to say this is the easiest thing in the world to do. But if you did go one way, it's probably easier to remove Chrome OS, in my opinion, than it is to put it back on. But it's not impossible. So that's it when it comes to this, tutorial. Like I say, if you do have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Don't forget to leave the important information, so I can go and try to help you as much as possible. And if I can't get to it, at least I can leave it out there so another Linux enthusiast can kind of jump into it, and they do it all the time. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next video.